There's another design must that when you do custom saxophones, this is really a feature you absolutely need to get in there. And that's the double arms on the low C, the B and the B flat. You get a cup that closes much more uniform. It's much more rigid. It's not just twice as rigid, it's probably 3 times as rigid because of the double arms. And you get a C that just completely smack closes every single time. Almost every single vintage horn has inline tone holes. And what that is and what that means is that all the tone holes here are in one straight line down the cone of the horn. But modern saxophones have a twist so that from the F sharp and to the lower stack it's actually turned. And why you do that is because you want a more relaxed playing position. You don't want like this, you want like this. Again, for better ergonomics and more comfortable playing. I cut the cone just in the right spot, and that is somewhere in the middle of the F sharp and the G sharp tone hole. And I cut it with an extremely thin blade. I of course measure up the exact placement of the tone holes so I have the right distance. It's no good if you just take out, let's say, 0.5 millimeter, and these 4 tone holes, they just get 0.5 millimeter closer to the top. Then you're not gonna have a low stack that's plays in tune. So this is very important stuff. And if you cut it, you remove material, and then when you solder it together, you move it like 1/10 of a millimeter, and that's enough so the horn doesn't play in tune. And I'm very accurate, because you have to be accurate. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. So using a ring, make sure I get the spacing right between the tone holes and the horn plays in tune, because nobody wants a custom horn that costs maybe 25,000 and it doesn't play in tune. I like details, and this is a fairly nice little detail, I think. You have to have some kind of protection for the very long F sharp rod, and I designed this guard to be a self-locking. A lot of guards have a small screw down here you need to tighten or the guard will fall off. And there is no noise from it, it doesn't. Nothing touches in here, everything is spaced, so no noise, but self-locking mechanism. Invention of SaxWorks. The SML gold medal has a bit of a funny placement of the low C sharp tone hole, meaning that it is on the inside of the bow, almost on the inside, in a kind of angle. So when you do the mechanical part, you have to be very precise, because you also have the lower stack coming up, so you don't have a lot of spacing. You have to use every single millimeter available to you. I added a closer arm, so when I play a low B, the C sharp stays closed. The finish of the horn is all of the body has been polished, highly buffed, so it is nice and shiny, and all the key cups and all of the mechanical parts, the key work, is satin brushed, so you get a kind of contrast between the satin brushed cups and mechanical parts and the very shiny body. I actually wanted my friend Jason Dumas to do the engraving on this horn, but for some strange reason Danish customs just had to, fuck up is the best word, I think, the shipment to the US, so I had to pay like $2,000 just to send the horn off to US and get it back through customs, and I kind of didn't have that money lying around for just that, so I decided I needed to try re-engrave it myself. I added a few flowers to the original design just to fill in some natural gaps that I thought could use an extra flower, and I did a little extra something on the bottom here. All the pivot screws has of course been blued, just like I showed you in my last video, and I just think it adds a little aesthetics that I really like. They are like small blue jewels.